a stand-up comedian. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for the one, the only, Jerry Pace. Come on, give him a hand. Good evening, everybody. Tonight I'm here to celebrate my 5-year anniversary of being divorced. Well, to tell you a little bit about it, the last 5 years has been a little bit exhausting. But to tell you the least, in the last 5 years, I've done a lot of dating. And one of the things I've learned is that I've mastered the art of the breakup. And when you think about the breakup really comes down to, I start usually with the same way where it's not you, it's me. And I was talking to a woman and she said, that's okay. And I said, but you don't understand. I'm emotionally unavailable. And she said, I can live with that. And I said, but you don't understand. I'm just not that into you. And she said, I'm not that into you either. I'm desperate. Well, over the time I've gone on and, with dating and, talking with different women. And there was this one woman I was talking to, and it was going well, so I asked her out. I said, what are you doing this Friday night? And she says, what are you doing tonight? I said, I can't do anything. Tonight I gotta wake. And she says, I'll go. So I ended up taking her to the wake. Turns out she dated the dead guy. Well, long story short, we ended up having an amazing time. Next morning, we had breakfast. Then we went to the grave. She loved the flowers I picked for her. I gotta tell you, these days, dating's getting really expensive. And when you think about it, the cost of dates, because they're getting so expensive, I said, I'm gonna start taking women to the park and take them to maybe the beach and go to the boardwalk. But recently, I stepped up my game. And I took a woman to a game, and turns out the date was going well. So I asked her if she wanted to share a hot dog. So, as we're sharing, I say to her, would you like to go out again? She says, look, I think you're a really nice guy, and I appreciate a ball game, but I'm not into middle school softball. As she's scooting down the bleachers, I yell to her, I go, hey, where are you going? I still need my half of the hot dog. These days, nothing gets me more upset than being stood up and ghosting. Well, recently, I went to have a date, and she didn't show up. So a few weeks later, I'm in the park. Same place we were supposed to have the date. And I look over and I go, hey, you stood me up. She said, look. She goes, you're a nice guy, but I'm not going to a middle school softball game. But recently I met the woman of my dreams. Well, she actually asked me out on a date. We ended up going to a play. And during the play, I end up whispering in her ear, which one's your niece? Turns out that date went really well. Next week, we're going to a niece's softball game. These days, nothing gets me more upset than Photoshop and the way that people take on these apps and reconstruct their face and their bodies. And one of the things that really gets me is you think you start to master knowing where you can see the separation and where it breaks off. Well, one of the things that happened for me was I go on a date and there was something that I really had to confront the person. I said, look, I can accept the wig, but I'm struggling with, the penis. Turns out the date went pretty good. He paid. Yes. So I go to visit my mother recently, and I show up, and nothing gets me more, going there and hearing her. Well, she starts out when I get there and she says, "Hey, how you doing, Jerry?" I'm like, "Good, Ma, everything's good." She goes, "So, are you eating?" "Yeah, Ma, I'm eating." She goes, "So let me ask you, who broke up with you this week?" Turns out, I said, "Ma, look." And she goes, "Well, Jerry," she goes, "what's going on? Is everything okay down there?" I said, "Ma, I'm not getting into this." Well, so she says to me, "Do you want me to set you up with my friend Alice from the Widows Group?" I said, "Ma, I don't need to be set up for your friend Alice." She says, "She's worth $6.5 million. I said, "You think she'd like Olive Garden?" Well, as I'm going through dating, there's a lot of different dating apps. So my friend recommended I join a package, of different dating apps for a certain price. Well, as I'm joining it, I noticed one that really caught my eye called Grindr. I just figured, I like coffee. Well, turns out the date could have gone really bad. Turned out to be my best date ever. He paid for the hot dog. All right, thank you very much, everyone.
Jerry Pace, come on, give him a hand. First time on stage. First time on stage. Jerry Pace. That was great. And now I can say this is so cool. How about a hand for Jerry Pace's mom, who's right down front? Jerry Pace's mom. His mom is right down front. And I just want to say to you that if Jerry will not go out with your friend Alice, who is worth $6.5 million, I will. All right, we have to have our priorities straight here.